Hello, my name is TRG and I have a question for you. Do you remember the first video game you've ever gotten? Or more precisely, do you remember your first game on a CD? Well, I do, and today I'll be talking about a game that I remember fondly from my childhood, and the one that I play at least once every year to completion. Do you play your favorite games at least once a year religiously, or am I the crazy person here? But I digress. I'm talking about Little Big Adventure 2, also known as Twinsen's Odyssey, the sequel to Little Big Adventure 1, also known as Relentless. LBA 2 was created by Adeline Software International, who were a subsidiary of Delphine Software, which are most known for games like Another World, Flashback and... Shaq Fu? Hold up, they made Shaq Fu? LBA 2 is an action-adventure game that juggles both puzzle solving and combat. You play as Twinsen, a Twinsonian living on the planet Twinsen that has two twin suns, hence the name Twinsen. You're already considered a hero after you've saved the planet from the evil Dr. Funfrock. Unfortunately, peace does not last long as the planet has new visitors, Esmers, aliens from the planet Zeelish that claim to be peaceful. And I don't know about you, but I don't trust people when they bring attack dogs, Secret Service agents that hide in the bushes and agents who hide inside trash cans and cacti. It's up to you to find out what the aliens are up to and thwart their evil plans. In my opinion, LBA 2 stands the test of time very well, especially in the graphical aspects. It's mostly a 3D game. I say mostly because the interiors of buildings and such are presented in a 2.5D manner rather than full 3D, but characters retain the 3D graphics. And the fully 3D outsides are rather impressive. The game feels very open for you to explore and you can freely go back and forth between locations most of the time. And there is a lot of different environments to explore. Starting at the Citadel Island, going through caves full of monsters and deserts is cool and all, but you'll also pay a visit to the Emerald Moon and its space base. And most important, planet Zeelish, which is a very big part of the game. It's a vastly different world while you visit the main tourist city Otringal, visit refineries, go to the Undergas, to the mines, to the musky bees. This game has so many locations. But to be honest, a lot of locations you'll visit only once or twice. A lot of them are built like single levels with the reward at the end that will enable you to continue the story. It's a thing you notice after knowing the game like your own pocket, aka like me. But because of the semi-open world surrounding them, you don't notice that unless you play this game a lot of times. And that's great, since the game world isn't just a string of locations glued together, but rather seen as a real, believable world. I've mentioned puzzles, so let's talk about gameplay and controls. Twinsen controls are basically tank controls, meaning left and right turn you around and up and down moves him back and forth. The more interesting part is the behavior system. Twinsen can switch in between 4 basic behaviors: normal, sporty, aggressive and discreet. Each one of them has you moving in a different way and changes the purpose of your action key. In normal mode, normally and the action button is used to interact with stuff, talk to people and search props on the level for extra health, mana and cash. Sporty mode is where you'll probably spend 90% of the game. This mode allows Twinsen to run around and jump with the action button. Aggressive mode has you throwing punches, and discreet allows you to sneak up on enemies, but its main purpose is to change the trajectory of your magic ball, your basic weapon, but it also at times changes the behavior of other projectiles, and is sometimes essential to finish your quest. The magic ball isn't just a weapon, it's also used to manipulate mechanisms like switches that you cannot reach. And then of course there are platforming puzzles and simple logic ones, like figuring out combinations. Overall, the variety of them is really good and they're not overly complex. And if you don't like going through menus to change behaviors, select items or change weapons, don't worry, almost every convenient functionality has also a hotkey and all keys are rebindable. Honestly, this screen just puts today's games developers to shame. Twinsen's Odyssey also features a lot of voice acting. You can speak to almost every character you meet and they all have their own unique lines.
I'm sorry, sir, you may not enter here. It is restricted to the Astroport personnel.
Since this game has a very cartoony aesthetic, almost all voice actors talk in a very cartoony fashion, with over-exaggerated voices, but it fits the game very well, although the more you'll play, the more you'll notice that a lot of characters sound like they were done by the same person with a different voice pitch.
Twinsen, rush to the downtown pharmacy and find a cure for Dinofly. He's just crashed in the garden. Just stay here. Here, take the key to the passage. Go and save your people.
Twinsen's voice is done by David Gassman. You may know his voice. He's the guy who's responsible for Rayman's voice, he played Paige from Beyond Good and Evil, and he was in various Quantic Dream games such as Heavy Rain, Omicron, and was the voice of Lucas Kane in Indigo Prophecy, also known as Fahrenheit. The dialogues in the game are pretty good, and this game has probably the best line I've ever heard in a video game.
Fun Frock, you suck big time, and I'm gonna take you out, and I don't mean for pizza. Even.
All that is greatly complemented by the orchestral soundtrack composed by Philippe Vacchi. I love the music in this game, it perfectly matches up the situations and the environments you're in, even though they're often reused for different locations. Nonetheless, they always fit the situation at hand, cheerful in the beginning of the game.
If you are interested in an item, stand in front of it and do action.
Fast and energetic when in action. And menacing when there's evil all around. And it was in fantastic quality. Back in the day, a lot of games had audio CD quality music, meaning that you could pop the CD into your favorite CD player, skip the first data track and just enjoy listening to the tunes. Combat at times can be pretty annoying though, especially in the first parts of the game, and it's mostly due to the fact that you can get stun locked very easily. Whenever Twinsen's hit, he'll go backwards and you can't do anything until his getting hit animation is complete. It does not matter from which direction he's hit, he'll always walk backwards. It's quite easy to experience this with two enemies hitting you one after another. That can get pretty challenging as it's usually pretty damn hard to keep your distance, and hand-to-hand combat is pretty much the most practical one. You can mitigate this by either getting the protection spell, which makes the game much easier, or switch your behaviors right after getting hit, cancelling out the animation. It's not really a big of a deal once you get the hang of how combat works though, but it's something to have in mind. You can also utilize a dodge move which also behaves differently depending on your behavior, different speeds, dodge distance and animation. But the combat isn't the main meat of the game, the adventure is. And Little Big Adventure 2 provides a great one. It reminds me of a time when I was a kid and didn't really need a grand story in the game. A cliché "save the world" was enough. Still, if you crave something from the good old times when things were much simpler and when you didn't give a crap if something's realistic or not, this cartoony adventure might be something right up your alley. Hello everybody, my name is TRG and hope you enjoyed this video. I do more retro reviews. They sometimes come faster, sometimes later. But if you want to be notified and enjoy this kind of video, subscribing is a thing. You might want to subscribe to be notified of more videos. And maybe you just want to experience the nostalgia together of old MS-DOS games. I also cover indie games, and if that's your sort of thing, you can also subscribe. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.